If I look around Linux forums or Linux chats, I sometimes see a very aggressive tone in what I read. I don't understand this. There are Linux users who fight against Linux users. One person uses Ubuntu, the other person uses Debian, the third person uses Arch Linux. And what I read sometimes, not always, is something like that. You are a fool because you use Ubuntu. And the Ubuntu guy says, and you are stupid because you use Arch Linux. What's the point of that? Well, I can tell you, this is senseless. This doesn't make any sense. The Ubuntu guy would argue that he doesn't like rolling release and the installation of Arch Linux is too hard and it's not for beginners. And the Arch Linux guy would say, but you, Ubuntu guy, you use snaps and flatpaks and all this crap. But what's the problem? If you use Ubuntu and you like it, please don't care what other people say. If you use Arch Linux and you like what you have, please don't care what the Ubuntu guy says. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you like what you have. If you like Ubuntu, it's okay. If you like Debian, it's okay. If you like Arch Linux, it's okay. And if you like to build Linux from scratch, it's also okay. It doesn't matter if another person says that this doesn't make sense. It makes sense for you, and that's the most important thing. Don't listen to other people what you should use. Use what you like. Other people don't know what you need. Other people only know what they need, and they think this is the same that what you need. But this is not true. I use Debian, but don't listen to me if I tell you you should use Debian too. If Debian is my favorite Linux distribution, this is my problem, not yours. I like GNOME, and I know there are many GNOME haters out there who say GNOME is crap. I don't care if you say GNOME is crap. But you also shouldn't care if I say GNOME is good, because maybe it's not good for you. And I have to admit, my GNOME is not vanilla GNOME. For example, I use the Mate file manager Kaya. I don't use Nautilus because I don't like it. So there is much hate. I see YouTube videos, Linux Mint versus Manjaro, for example. Distro war. I think there is so much war and hate in the world. You see it now. Somewhere in the world there is always war and hate and all that crazy stuff. Why should we, as a Linux community, also fight against each other? Here, we are one. It doesn't matter if you use Fedora, Ubuntu, Debian, Arch Linux, or something else, or Gentoo. I have been using Arch Linux for almost 2 years as my main driver. Now I use Debian. It's the complete opposite. That doesn't matter. I have my reasons why I have been using Arch Linux, and now I have my reasons why I use Debian. But it doesn't matter for you. We are one. We all together use Linux. That's the point. We should unite. We are such a great community. And I think we also should not stand against Microsoft and Apple. What's the point? We don't use Microsoft Windows anymore, or we don't use Mac OS anymore. That's it. If other people use Microsoft Windows for one or another reason, that doesn't matter. The problem in open source is that we have fragmentation. Developers have a vision and they have different opinions. That's absolutely okay. Some go in this direction and some go in another direction. But we all use the Linux kernel. We all use GIMP. LibreOffice, Thunderbird, Scribus. We all use those fantastic applications. And it doesn't matter if you use Ubuntu or Debian or Fedora or Arch or Manjaro. Maybe you all use LibreOffice. I don't say that we should not criticize what's wrong in our opinion. If, for example, the Firefox Snap is starting very slow, we have to address that. That's absolutely correct. But there is no reason to hate Canonical or Ubuntu for that. It's their decision. It's open source. They want to implement Snap. They are allowed to do that. And we are allowed to decline that. We can say, okay, if you do that, I don't use you anymore. That's all. There's no need for hate. There's so much choice in the Linux world. And this is good, as I said in another video, that we don't have to fight against each other. I love Linux, and I know you love Linux too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here on my channel. So give me a thumb, subscribe to my channel, have fun with Linux, and don't fight.